Hey everyone, this is Diabetes the Second here with the Dragon Warrior Randomizer Seed of the Week for November 8th, 2020. Very quickly, the Seed of the Week is an asynchronous race hosted by the DWR community. For anyone who wants to participate, each Sunday a seed and flag set are posted, racers generate and run the seed anytime they choose over the next 7 days, and submit their times. Results are released at the end of each week. Each week features a unique seed and rotating flag set for racers to take on. All races are expected to avoid spoilers and play the seed blind, and ideally will either stream or upload a VOD of their attempt. If you have any interest in participating in the Seed of the Week, finding other racers, or trying out the randomizer yourself, see the description below for some links to help get you started. Shameless self-promotion, I stream DWR fairly regularly at twitch.tv/diabetesthe2nd, usually somewhere between 8 p.m. and midnight Eastern, including viewer-requested seeds and community races, with the occasional vanilla speedrun stream on Saturday mornings. So feel free to stop by and say hello. It truly is a fun experience to have an audience to share the randomizer experience with, both the highs and the trolley lows. So, what I'm going to be doing now is a bit of a post-mortem commentary of my run through the seed, which took place a few days ago. So hopefully this will provide a little bit of insight as we explore the randomized world of Alfgard. So the results of this week's seed will be shown at the conclusion of the run. The featured flag set this week is the same as that was used in the 2020 summer tournament, so we'll see a randomized overworld map, town and cave locations, chest and search spot treasures, enemy zones, skills and spells, and hero stat growth and spells. We are going to be requiring just 75% of the vanilla experience to reach each level. We'll also be featuring scared metal slimes and repel in dungeons. Most of those are pretty self-explanatory, but the rest we'll address as they become relevant throughout the run. Looks like we'll be using a standard strength HP build. Pretty common, unless the flag set is of particular significance. This is a pretty standard flag set. So as always, what we find here in the throne room will likely determine the opening of our seed. So let's see what we've got. Starting with a fairy water and some cash. Stats are a little bit on the low side, just 5 strength. So this opens up a couple of possibilities. Anytime you start off with gold in the treasury, in the throne room, especially when your stats are a little on the mediocre side, it's pretty common to head back into the throne room, save, and see if there's a nearby town to pick up some equipment. Better to look for a hand axe and use that to slash through enemies than punch them for 1 damage at a time. The fairy water here does present an interesting opportunity to kill a bigger enemy right off the bat. So let's see how we start things off here. Oh, we find a magician, throw some fairy water, and immediately pick up level 2. Two, 16, 2, and 5, with the spell of Heal More. So the agility gain there is pretty good, but the lack of strength gain is a bit on the concerning side. It looks like we found a red slime here in this home zone. Probably worth taking out a few of those. We can definitely fight them, despite our low strength. But we're really locked out of just about anything else. Heal More is a nice pickup as well. It increases the survivability a bit, but we have just 8 MP, so we can only cast it once. Feeling out the magician here a bit. We can't reliably do damage, so best to run. Also checking the nearby area. Saw me go a little bit to the west looking for a town. Again, that would probably be the #1 priority at this point. We do have the ability to fight red slimes, but again, finding a town that has a weapon or even a armor upgrade would certainly help open things up a bit. Now with level 3 achieved at 17 experience points, pretty good idea to just see if we can find another red slime, which we do, to try to quickly get that level. Never know when Hurt More or a ton of strength MP or something else that's going to really break you out of this is going to come. So we've got 6110 and the spell of Hurt. Okay. So we got some good things. 6 strength opens things up a little bit, but more importantly, we picked up the spell of Hurt. It's going to be by far our best offensive option. The trouble is, we didn't pick up any MP, so our max is still just 8. Looks like I've gone back into Tantagel to heal. Honestly, I don't really like the play here. I know that my thought process at this point was, well, I haven't looked around perhaps quite enough. Maybe there is still a town nearby. Let me try to keep the gold if I can. But at this point, with the Hurt spell, you know, picking up a hand axe or something is, even a copper sword, it's not going to be as strong as casting Hurt. Granted, we only have a few casts of it, but that's not going to make that much of a difference. In terms of defense, we couldn't really do any better than the chainmail. And again, same situation, it really wouldn't make all that much difference in terms of what would be survivable to fight. I do like pushing the borders here a bit, see if we can head into one of the home adjacent zones and look for some slightly larger enemies to cast Hurt on. We found the Drakima and level 4. Wow, 27 strength. Huge pickup. Everything I said about finding a weapon almost doesn't matter at this point. We can now punch just as hard as the Hurt spell for most of these enemies here in the opening zone. Now, one thing that was concerning, we picked up a whopping 0 MP. So we are still sitting at just 8 magic points, which is only 4 Hurt casts or a single heal more. Made quick work of the Droll and the Scorpion there, and quickly pick up level 5. 1, 6, 24, and another 0 for MP. That is problematic. That said, that big HP gain combined with a single heal more cast, we have pretty good strength, the Hurt spell if we need it. It's gonna be a good idea to take a slightly bigger, broader look around to see if a town or other point of interest is nearby. Again, I really don't see the necessity to hop into the castle to heal. It would be faster and a little bit more efficient to just take a death refill. I would lose half my gold, but again, picking up chainmail, copper sword, even a hand axe is not going to make that much difference as to what I'm able to fight. Was just off screen earlier, we do find a cave and a town. Now I'm thinking, why didn't I find this 6 minutes ago? Alright, we found the Jerk Cave, so the Rainbow Drop is nearby once we have our quest items. We see we are punching the skeleton here quite effectively. And it's Hawksness. Well, I'm a little bit less irritated now, because Hawksness, the dead town, full of enemies, not helpful in terms of picking up equipment items or anything else, so not so bad. Branching out here a little bit further to the north, we catch sight of another town here on the eastern shore. Now this one's guaranteed to be a healing town with weapon and item shops and everything else, and it turns out to be Remolder. So we have key access now. So we have the opportunity to fill up on keys because we did maintain our gold. So that actually turned out to be a pretty good thing. We can max out keys and still have enough gold to pick up a hand axe if one is available. If not, we can go with something like copper sword, chainmail, or whatever else happens to be available. With key access, we can check the single chest here in Remolder. We also have the ability to check the Tantagigal Castle Treasury, as well as the basement. Wolflord there, if we're able to pick up a weapon, alternatively, if we just cast Hurt a bunch, we can probably take one out at this point. Would be a pretty good enemy, barring any silly abilities, as we pick up some cash in the inn in Remolder. Refill our MP, and head to the shop. Alright, we've got Flame Sword for offense, but otherwise not much. Bamboo Pole is not really worth it. I ended up picking up Chainmail there. I'm not exactly sure what I was thinking. Probably should have erred on the side of the half plate. It provides 6 more defense, costs a little bit more, but I'm not doing anything else with the gold right now. Branching a little bit further to the north, we find a Star Wyvern, which is a big baddie that we really can't handle at this point. It does have Stop Spell, so that's good for later. Once we pick up Erdrick's armor, that'll be a lot of wasted turns. At least we hope. Another Sharlock tier enemy, so some good hurt more targets up here. Worth noting for later, as we discover Swamp North. Ooh. The wizard has Fire Breath. Also Stop Spell. Again, not the worst news in the world here. That means that later on, they're going to be fairly weak enemies, easy to take on. And immediately we see Sharlock Castle here on the other side. Doesn't really help us now, but we know it's not that far from home. Again, we see another couple of good hurt more targets in the Wraith Knight and the Wolflord. So some good enemies on this side too. We find a cave and a town right behind Sharlock. This is the Stones of Sunlight freebie cave, in which we find a cursed belt. Not super helpful. Can we make it to the town? We can, and it is Breckenary. Another opportunity for a shop. Lots of good stuff here. We're able to pick up a copper sword. We can't afford anything else at this point. Broadsword would be nice, full plate, but more importantly, the silver shield. If there's a gold grind available, we will be able to pick up the best shield in the game, and the best sword, outside of Erdrick's sword, just in case. Heading over to the item shop, filling up on herbs. Always a good idea to have a stockpile of herbs on hand. In this case, especially since we are very limited in our MP pool, even though we do have Heal More. We are going to want some other way to heal just in case. Also go ahead and pick up a torch or two just for safety when it comes to exploring dark caves. It's usually a little bit faster than bonking around in the dark anyway. Also pick up a dragon scale, good for 2 defense. Heading back outside, we have a bridge here to a lot of swamp. Again, considering our lack of healing and other resources. Not a bad idea to skip that. We'll come back and explore a bit later. Magic Wyvern here, definitely a little bit too strong for us to take on at this point. Wolflord I still think would be a very good target at this point. Not sure exactly why I'm running from all of these. As the skeleton gives us level 6. 13 more power, 6, 27, and 1. Alright. Yep, I agree. Druid Lord is a pretty good target right now. Not sure if that was a miss menu, but a little bit confused why I didn't heal there. Very easily could have taken out the Druid Lord after casting Heal More. Perhaps I really wanted to get back to the castle. We do have the ability to check the chests here. In the treasury we have Erdrick's Sword. Massive pickup. Not only are we very strong, now we have the best sword in the game, plus 40 attack power. We are ready to fight pretty much most of the things that we've already seen, with the exception of the Sharlock tier enemies. Nothing else of tremendous significance there in the treasury. Refilling keys here in the castle. And in the basement we have Mountain Cave. So 5 more chests down here. If we can manage to get to any of them. And the Blue Dragon says no, quite emphatically, so Blue Dragons have Dragon Lord Breath. That's going to be a problem. Looks like I'm going to make another attempt at it. Honestly, there's not really a great need to do that at this point. Probably the item with the biggest immediate impact we've already found with Erdrick's Sword. It would be nice to pick up the armor, but we have plenty of attack power, certainly enough HP to survive and pick up a bunch of levels outside. We can always come back later. So I don't necessarily agree with this play at this point, again, knowing that there are blue dragons here, which will be difficult to run from, and have Dragon Lord Breath. We do make it to chest 1. It is gold. So, gold grind is available, although not active. Any chest we pick up further now, subject to the chest glitch, so we can do gold grind, key grind, herb grind, whatever it happens to be. But we'll have to re-enter as long as there's not a gold chest left in order to do a gold grind. Chest number 2 is empty. So that would be an herb or key. Chest 3, the tablet. So that was the Stones of Sunlight. I can tell you, as we pick up Erdrick's Token, so Stones of Sunlight, Erdrick's Token back to back here in the Mountain Cave, I did not recognize or realize that the stones were in that first chest. I think I thought it was a key or an herb, and when I checked my inventory, that's why I took the chest again and saw that it was empty. So I did not realize, I think at this point, that these stones were actually in my inventory. Trying to navigate our way to this final chest. Druid Lords are a great target to fight at this point. Stone Men are a little bit dangerous. Gonna punch still very hard. We don't have the sleep spell. We also don't have the MP to cast sleep, even if we did have it. But we do pick up level 7. 8, 0, 14, 18. Finally, we have some MP. Last chest, Harp Knight, which actually is a set of wings. So we managed to clear out Mountain Cave. We found a couple of our quest items. We now know a gold grind exists. Based on the enemies that we've seen a lot of Sharlock tier stuff around. Definitely not the worst idea in the world to exit, come back in, and activate a gold grind. Here as we take the death warp out of Mountain Cave. We know that Remolder nearby has, I think the full plate. And we know that Breckenary, just on the other side of Swamp Cave, has full plate, magic armor, and silver shield, so we can pick up the best equipment that we can currently get our hands on. Looks like I'm going to go ahead and do that. Activate the gold grind. We're going to pick up all 4 chests here. Hop into the throne room. That adds the 3 chests in the throne room that were there at the start of the game to the count, so we're up to 7. Any chest beyond 8 respawns infinitely, and we can just pick it up over and over. So we'll have to pick up 1 chest downstairs on the 2nd floor before coming back up to the 1st floor chest. Again, this isn't really urgent to do right now. I don't disagree with the idea of it, but we do know that there are blue dragons here, very dangerous. We know that there are wizards, less dangerous because of their skill set, but, you know, they're still here and would be tough to run from. We don't have the outside spell. But we could very easily, as you can see, we're hitting here Druid Lords for 30, 34. Could very easily go outside. We've already seen a couple of zones of good enemies. We saw Wolf Lords near Remolder. We've seen Druid Lords on the other side of the Swamp Cave. We've seen Wraiths. We've seen Wraith Knights over there. With our high HP pool, it's not unreasonable. We also saw Axe Knights and Star Wyverns a bit further to the north. Those might be possible, especially with the Heal More spell. Granted, the extra defense would only make those battles easier, and us to require less refilling in between, but still. Alright, decision point here. Silver Shield costs 14,800. If I stop at 17.8, I'm going to end up picking up most likely the full plate. If I were to have gone all the way to 22.5, my eyes would have been on the magic armor. Looks like I stopped early. Full plate is usually sufficient in most cases. Only extra benefits of the magic armor are 1 hit point regen per 4 steps, and a little bit of protection against the hurt and hurt more spells. Damage reduction by 1/3. Now, I did step out of the castle there. I don't like that I didn't save. If I die, I lose half my gold, and the silver shield goes along with it. I know, because I've already been up here. We've seen Axe Knights and Star Wyverns up here near the cave. We know that the cave inside has blue dragons and wizards, all of which are very dangerous and very capable of putting us back to the castle. So this is definitely a risky move. The wizard is successful in stop spell, so we can no longer heal. We have herbs if needed, but the wizard can outdamage herbs as we fail to run 3 times. Last chance to run, in all likelihood, we fail. And the wizard breathes exact lethal fire damage. So that gold grind that we just invested a couple of minutes into is now worthless. We can pick up magic armor if we choose, but we can no longer afford the silver shield, which is the ultimate prize, because eventually whatever armor we pick up will be replaced by Erdrick's later on in the run. Would have taken about 40 seconds or so to go back and save, so really big unforced error. Looks like I'm pacing around trying to pick up level 8. Definitely could move on to a higher enemy zone. Really don't need to settle here in this grouping. These aren't bad enemies by any means, but still, we are certainly more than capable of taking on the enemies a little bit further to the north. I do like the idea of doing a mini grind here. We've done a lot of homework, a lot of checks and other stuff recently, and it would be a good idea to add some XP to the mix. Pretty good level there, a lot more MP. 31319, I believe. So MP is catching up nicely. Still a long way to go, though. Exploration would also be a pretty significant thing to invest in at this point. Nothing there to the west of the castle. Head south and see if anything is in this direction. We never really made it very far earlier. Turns out to be just another dead end. So if we're going to explore, it looks like we're going to end up heading north. There's also a little bit of land area here to the east, which turns out to be yet another dead end. Heading into the castle, looks like I'm going to heal up. I'm not entirely sure what the plan is here. We do know Hawksness is just to the north. This might be a play for that. We certainly have enough attack power to take down most things. We have enough casts of Heal More, probably to even navigate our way through a Red Dragon fight, so... especially if the armor is here, it's a good idea to at least check. Oh, Wraith Knights have Dragonlord Breath as well. That's not fun. Yikes. When it rains, it pours. Really having a tough time getting away from them. But as you can see, very fightable. Even if we are breathed on there, we do have the opportunity. If we're fully healed, we're not going to get killed in one shot, so we have the opportunity to kill most of the time. They have a little bit of dodge. So let's check the trap tile. Blue Dragon. We know Blue Dragons have Dragonlord Breath. That's going to be a problem. They have the full wombo. Sleep, Dragonlord Breath, and we're dead. Well then. I don't think we're going to be checking this search tile until we get Stop Spell. Or we could brute force it and hope for luck, but... no. Bad idea. Yes, good, good. Don't go right back in. We didn't go north here, so let's see if there's anything else here. There is not. Just a big swampy dead end. Hopping here into Remolder, looks like I'm going to go ahead and pick up some armor. Full plate. We should have stopped to pick up the magic armor much sooner. Actually, on the way into the mountain cave, or sorry, the swamp cave earlier, I guess the thought that I had was I can pick up, you know, everything in one shop in Breckenary as opposed to making 2 stops. You know, the extra 14 defense, that would have been an upgrade from the full plate from the chainmail, definitely would have made some impact. Now, one thing to note here as well, you notice I'm heading basically straight north back to the mountain cave, or the swamp cave. I did realize that there was a little bit of land just to the west of it that I hadn't checked. But in the very bottom left corner of the map, you can see that there was a little bit of land area over there, and at this point, I can tell you that I've not marked it as explored, but I don't have a branch point that would indicate that there is land over there that I need to explore. So I am kind of not checking that because I don't realize that there is more land area. Directly to the west of where I'm standing, right there, I just, for some reason, did not, you know, note that there is further land to the west. Oy. These blue dragons are a big problem. It would be a very good idea now to move a little bit to the east and try to grind some levels. Maybe we'll pick up Hurt more. More importantly, perhaps we'll pick up Stop Spell, as we see the green dragons also have sleep. Fortunately, their Fire Breath is of the weak variety. But when you string 4 or 5 of them together, that's still a problem. Alright, level 9, finally. 3, 2, 10, 16. Looks like we're going to check out the swamp spike tile, see if there's something a little bit more palatable here to grind. And it's another blue. And we're back attacked. And we can't run. And we're asleep. And we're dead. Oh, wow. That's, rude. So at this point, I know that there's not a good grind tile. I have pretty high HP, I have heal more. I definitely have the ability to continue exploration, as long as I'm not running into blue dragons everywhere. I still think the right play right now would be to grind a bit, and it looks like that's what I'm going to do. At least to pick up a level, see if we find Stop Spell or something else. Hurt more would be great as well. This zone looks to be pretty good. We did see the zone a little bit further to the north that had Axe Knights and Star Wyverns, which also may be pretty good. But Wolf Lord, Spectre, Metal Scorpion, all very safe, easily grindable battles here. Well, the grind for 400 or so XP there, maybe about 2 minutes worth. So definitely a quick grind. 1, 5, 27 more HP, and 3. Now, I'm a little bit conflicted as to whether or not I think exploration is the right call at this point. The thing that I can almost certainly guarantee what I'm thinking at this stage is I've got like 130 max HP. I'm pretty strong. I already have a pretty good capability to, you know, survive out in the world and explore. Am I gonna be ready for the Dragon Lord? Is this going to be a level 12, level 13, ready to go seed? And if that's the case, if I sit here and grind, I'm going to be ready to win, and I'm going to be scrambling to try to find all the things. I'm still missing a quest item. I don't have the armor. I haven't found the Staff of Rain turn-in. So I don't think this is all that bad of an idea. To just get out there, explore, try to look for the things, fight enemies along the way that are reasonable for you to fight. Running into a lot of dodges here, unfortunately. It's just the luck of the RNG, I guess. Well, we found a town just to the northeast of Swamp. We hadn't gone this direction before, and it is Cantlin. Probably looking for a large shield at this point, since we don't have enough for silver. We saw a small shield there. Refill keys. No large shield there either. Third shop. No shields at all. Well, silver or small shield only gives 4 defense. Probably would skip it at this point. If it's the only shield I can afford later on, it would be worth picking it up for the 4 defense, but I don't see any urgency to do so now. 13 south, 40 east. We were able to go a little bit south and east of the castle, but I'm quite certain we have not been able to go 40 paces to the east, so these coordinates are going to be on the second continent. The castle seems to be located somewhere north central, northwest. It's hard to tell exactly, but we did see the flat top edge of the map right above Swamp North, so we know that we're fairly far north. But other than that, that's about all we can tell. Not sure exactly where the coordinates might be here on the second continent, because we're not sure exactly the full boundaries of the second continent yet. Find a dead end here west of Cantlin. I got a big old golem here. No flute. Not sure why I took this battle, to be quite frank. They hit very, very hard. We don't have a shield. I mean, it's a very easy battle to win, assuming the golem doesn't have something like heal more. Excellent move. Seals his fate, and gets us level 11. 2921, and the spell of Hurt More. I think we also picked up Repel there. Alright, there's the eastern edge of the map, so we're pretty far to the east. Ugh, another blue dragon, we barely survive. Not sure why I elected to fight this one. Agility's not great, it's in the 60s. We would have some difficulty running away, but not that much. Looks like we could have gone to the west there or north, and this goes pretty far. Until we find a cave, which is... it's the grave. No radiant, no torch, so we're going to be doing some dark navigation. Alright, chest 1 is gold, fighter's ring, and a torch. So nothing of major significance there. The fighter's ring will put on for 2 attack power. Checking the last 2 chests in the grave. Looks like, based on putting on the torch, it looks like that's what I'm going to do. It's kind of a 50-50 here, so this is a pretty decent walk away from home. We haven't gone this direction yet, so there's going to be at least a few things still out here. But of importance, we don't have the outside spell, so if we check these, we're going to have to walk ourselves all the way back out. Or, if we take a death warp out, we're going to have to walk all the way back and further on for exploration, as we see a metal slime. Oh, we got a couple damage in, but metal slimes have 3 HP. Would have been good for 255 experience. So a couple things. We saw a metal slime, and we see that I just cast the spell of Repel. We mentioned at the top that there were a couple of flags, including Repel in Dungeons and Scared Metal Slimes. Quickly addressing those, as the Stone Man here puts us to sleep. Ooh, Stone Men have Hurt More. And he's actually going to kill us here, so we did not get the 5th chest. So that's a kind of an orphaned check, not an ideal situation. Probably will skip it unless it's necessary to check, because that is such a long walk. What am I doing here? Am I going to force a gold grind? Yeah, it looks like the plan's to force a gold grind. I had 4 chests from the grave, 3 in the treasury, or sorry, 3 in the throne room, and that one there makes 8. I don't like this play. 60-some agility is not great, but we've got levels still to go. You know, it's not going to help with the blue dragon, which seems to be the big baddie that we're struggling with at this point. It's not going to help with things like sleep or hurt more. So I really don't understand this play. This is really not what I should be doing at this point. Sorry, a moment ago I mentioned Repel in Dungeons and Scared Metal Slimes. First one, Repel in Dungeons, is pretty self-explanatory. So the Repel spell usually works by restricting enemy encounters. You ignore battles at which the enemy's strength is equal to or less than the hero's defense. With this flag enabled, this functionality works everywhere, not just on the overworld, as is the case in vanilla. So in caves here, such as the Mountain Cave, in Hawksness, and in Charlotte Castle, enemies can be repelled. As for Scared Metal Slimes, normally enemies can only run when they have less than half of the hero's strength. If their strength is less than half of the hero's, they have a 25% chance to run each turn, including at the start of combat. But if the hero's too weak, in other words, if their strength is less than twice as much as the enemy's, that enemy can't run away. Metal Slimes have 10 strength, so a hero with less than 20 strength is free to just wail away on that metal slime without any fear of it escaping. Scared metal slimes eliminates that, and a metal slime can run regardless of what the hero's strength is. Wow. Spent a couple of minutes regrinding to pick up the silver shield and didn't even make it out of the cave. And I'm going back for more. Shaking my head. Again, this is wholly unnecessary, at least in my opinion, in a post-mortem. I really shouldn't be grinding for a silver shield. Again, I haven't seen a large shield, so maybe that's what my thoughts are here, but I've yet to find Garinham or coal. So there's 2 more shops that could have a large shield. Large shield, 10 defense versus the 4 defense from a small shield. It is somewhat of an increase, but, you know, compared to the silver shield, 20, you know, there is a difference, but, you know, we're not sitting with 35 or 40 agility here. We're sitting in the 60s with several levels to go. Circling back to the Scared Metal Slimes flag, the idea behind the flag is to try to even out the RNG a little bit, mostly in race settings. You know, you might imagine that somebody who happens to encounter and kill a metal slime early on, particularly one that was not able to run because the hero was weak enough at that juncture, that they would have a significant advantage over somebody who didn't happen to luck into that encounter. Again, there's been a little bit of debate in the community as to whether or not that should be more of a standard flag or not, but it's definitely been included in a lot of recent races and was part of the 2020 summer tournament flags as well. Okay, we're back over 14-8. Trying to head back out again. If I was really dead set on doing a grind, we could have forced it without having to death warp out of the grave, because Mountain Cave is here in the basement. I probably should have waited until I had outside. At least then, I could get out here rather quickly and safely. Meanwhile, we kill a wizard for level 12. 0213, no spell. So that's about as uneventful a level as you're going to get. Stop spell would still be a fantastic aid in our quest to not die to blue dragons all over the place. We could check Hawksness and its search tile. We know that the coordinates are probably not going to be the easiest just because they're going to be on the other continent. We can try to count over the water and see if we can see land down there southeast of the castle. Probably should have done that after exiting right there. At least then when I get to the other side here, I would have a relatively decent idea of where those coordinates might lie. Based on the map that I've seen so far, knowing that the castle is probably somewhere in the northwest, and the shape of the land I've found so far, it looks like the coordinates could be somewhere either around Swamp South, where we just exited, perhaps closer to Cantlin. Might be a little bit further to the west, hard to say. Alright, we have the silver shield that we wasted 4 or 5 minutes on. At least most recently. We also wasted a few minutes earlier by gold grinding and dying. But we have it finally in hand, so our defense is now 20 points greater. Nothing west of Breck. And we're back to exploration, it seems. So again, we have some land area here to the west that we have yet to explore, and then we could go up to the grave. And again, further land to the west and to the north. Oh, there's a cave right here. We hugged the eastern shore a little bit, so we didn't see this earlier. It's the staff cave, but we don't have the harp. So we'll end up coming back here. It's not that far of a walk out of the way, so that shouldn't be too difficult. More swampy goodness. And a dead end. Stone Man really giving me the business here. Sharlock seems to be kind of an interesting dichotomy of enemies at this point. We have blue dragons with Sleep and Dragonlord Breath. We have stone men with Sleep and Hurt More. But on the other hand, we have wizards with Weak Fire Breath and Stop Spell. Star Wyverns also with Stop Spell. So we'll be not super excited to see blues or stone men. We've also seen green dragons with Sleep and Weak Fire Breath. More annoyance than dangerous at this point, but kind of a strange dichotomy of Sharlock enemies. Alright, headed here north of the grave. Might be the northern edge of the map. Nothing up there. Resources starting to run a little on the thin side, kind of hoping for a town, still looking for coal, still looking for Grinham at this point. And this looks like all dead end here north of the grave. Let's try west this time. Probably should throw the rappel up. I think probably trying to save a little bit on the MP side, just in case we run into some bigger enemies that we either need to heal or perhaps, let's say, an armored knight stops by and double hurt more would be warranted. So there's another dead end. Let's head west into the swamp. Oh, there's a town. Finally. Is it Grinham? Is it coal? it is coal. Okay. Shop we don't care about, but what we do care about is the search tile here. Still in need of the harp, still in need of the armor, and we find the fairy flute. The death necklace is still out there somewhere as well, so it could have been that, but now we get probably the least useful of the items. Death necklace is almost certainly going to help out. We have so much HP, so death necklace is definitely in play here. That's one fewer check we have left as we pick up level 13. 11170. Didn't check the spell there. Nothing urgent that I would need right now. If I got stop spell or outside though, those could both be helpful. Outside for if we need to check the last chest in the grave. Stop spell. Talking about the blue dragons. Okay. And I can tell right now I'm feeling a little bit on the confused side. You can see I'm kind of walking around a little bit, and that's because I think that I've explored everything. I expected to find Grinham with the tablet cave in the back somewhere beyond Cole, because I have forgotten that area west of Remolder on the first continent. I have yet to explore there. You can see I'm kind of panicking, and I'm definitely looking at the clock at this point thinking, man, 25 minutes ago I was sitting at level 10. I was feeling pretty good. This looked like a jetty seed. And now I'm sitting here at 55 minutes. I'm basically in the same position that I was. I've gotten a few levels, but I'm still missing the harp. I'm still missing the armor. I still can't check Hawksness. I still haven't counted out coordinates or rescued the princess, and that would be difficult to do. I still haven't found Grinham. And it looks like I've made the call here to do the deep dive of the grave. This is a tough one. You notice when I check my spells there, I don't have outside yet. So it's going to be a long walk back out, or we're going to need to take a death refill. It's possible we gain level 14 during our dive here, and we happen to learn outside at that point. It's not the best odds, but certainly not impossible. On the other hand, we're basically in a dead-end area far away from everything else. If I don't have to come back up here at any point in the future, I'd love for that to be the case. I'm still looking for 2 key items, probably 3 at this point, because the death necklace, though optional, would be very helpful. So it's not the worst idea, but I think if I had it to redo, I would not do this check now. If absolutely necessary at the end, maybe. And in the last chest we have a torch. So there's another couple minutes of generally wasted time here. Going ahead and using the torch here, we know that we have the long walk back. We've seen a few good enemies that could send us out. We just need to find one of them. Stone Men would be probably the best option. Speaking of which, alright, adjusting the position of the fighter's ring to waste a turn, we take the death refill, we're headed home. Now we're down to just Grinham, Tablet Cave, the Overworld Search Tile, and Hawksness. I don't think I have Stop Spell yet, so that's going to make the Blue Dragon tough, but with Hurt More, with a ton ton of HP. It's not impossible. I think that I should really head southeast, count, and see exactly where coordinates would lead me. But it looks like we're going to make the play for Hawksness. Again, not the worst idea at this point. It's still going to be tough without Stop Spell, but... you know, a physical attack here, a single turn sleep there. We can get through this. Looks like we're trying Hurtmore strats here. Hurtmore only hits about 56% of the time. Three turn sleep, breath, breath, physical attack, and we're dead. That's the danger of these encounters without Stop Spell. Or without the armor, for that matter. Now, the armor could lie right underneath that blue dragon. Looks like we're gonna give it another go. Again, brute forcing against the RNG in a situation like this isn't the worst idea. Our odds are not like, it's not like we're aiming for a 5%er here. Now we get an attack in, that's 32. Dragon puts us to sleep. Do we wake up? We don't. There's another minute or so down the tubes as we cross the 1 hour mark. Probably feeling a little bit tilty right now. Irritated with the way the last 30-40 minutes have gone, and now very irritated with this blue dragon nonsense. We'll make one more play at it. Hopefully we can get through this time, starting with 35. Heal more for safety. 66, next physical, likely to win. And we do. Okay, finally. Hawksness. There's nothing here. This was pointless, there's nothing here. No armor, no harp, no death necklace, nothing. Just an empty spot and a blue dragon corpse that is just laughing at us. I think at this point I've realized, yeah, buddy, you didn't explore west here. Hey look, there's Garinham. It was just off screen. You could have been here literally an hour ago. Dang. Didn't bother to check the shop, don't need it. There might have been a large shield here. There's the silver harp. Could have already turned that in had we had it in our inventory at the time. Fairy water. And a torch. So Tablet Cave here in the back, we're down to just 3 possibilities for the location of the armor or the death necklace outside of Sharlock. We also have the 7 treasure chests in the castle. Important to note, as I said earlier, when I picked up the Stones of Sunlight in the mountain cave, the chest glitch was active. I wasn't sure what got put into my inventory, and over the course of the seed I have not recognized that I already have the stones. I'm thinking the stones are still out here as I pick up wings in the Tablet Cave. So I am certain in my head right now that the stones are either on the overworld tile or they're in Hawksness. And I think that I have to go dig them out. course, we don't actually need to dig those things out. At this point, I could go ahead and do the harp turn-in for the staff on the other side of the swamp cave. I could also come back. We know that the Rainbow Drop Cave is just north of the castle, so we could get all the things. We know the armor exists and it is somewhere. Could also be in Charlock. It's probably a good idea to check the overworld stuff first, because doing a Charlock dive with no armor is no fun. But we know that both of our options are not good. Looks like we're making for the play for the princess here. And this blue dragon is having absolutely none of it. I don't agree, or don't disagree with the idea. The coordinates are probably going to be difficult to count. If we can get through the blue dragon, wonderful. And finally, it looks like I'm going to give a count down here to the southeast to see where exactly I am on the map, and perhaps what can I see across the water. Okay, I have some idea. I see this land to the east. I'm not exactly sure if I've seen this before. You can see I'm just kind of noting here exactly what the land looks like in the exact spot that I was standing, so I have a pretty good idea where I will be on the other continent, or what I should be looking for on the other continent, rather. But again, the important thing here is that I don't need to do this necessarily. I could just grind up at this point, try to get Stop Spell, see if it'll work on the blue dragon, go ahead and save the princess. My stats are close but not quite ready for Dragon Lord yet. So I like that I'm fighting these battles here, the Axe Knight, the Stone Man. But I really should stay right here, right in this zone, right in this desert. Star Wyverns and Axe Knights both. Great hurt more targets, very fast. We're just a couple hundred experience points from level 14. Level 14 might have Stop Spell, which would make all this nonsense, you know, much easier to navigate through. As I realize that I use the same setup in OBS to record as I do to stream, and I realized that I did not turn off my chat or my alert box. So thanks Metal Dream X for the follow. So that's actually a part of the recording that did not just happen here live with commentary. Looks like I'm headed here over, perhaps west of Breckenay or somewhere in the southwest. Just based on the mapping that I've drawn so far, I know that Tanthagil must be pretty far north, so I don't think it could possibly be this far south. So I don't recognize any of the land areas there on the west coast, so we'll have to head further north. I know that dead end is not anything like what the land areas that I'm looking for. It's kind of that all hilly little... To me, it's pierogi-shaped, just kind of a pierogi on its side. But it's that little slice of Illinois out there floating in the ocean. Again, this really reinforces how much impact that blue dragon in the swamp cave is having on this seed. Aside from the one that was in Hawksness already. That turned out to not really be blocking anything, as I realized this is not what I'm looking for either. That's not the right land area. You know, if I had Gwaelin's Love at this point, I would be able to tell right away, I'm very close, I'm not very close. I don't have to look for these landmarks to try to do the count. Alright, let's try west of the Staff Turn-In Cave. We know that coal was over here. Is this the area that we're looking for? Stoneman really giving me the business in this seed. As I pick up level 14, wouldn't it be ironic at this point to now finally get Stop Spell? After I've walked halfway across the map. 3, 7, 15, 6, and the spell... It's actually not Stop Spell. Looks like we picked up Radiant. Also picked up another huge pile of HP. Numbers are still not quite there for Dragon Lord readiness. They're very, very close, though. Especially with the extra HP that we have. Even with the Death Necklace, we're still going to have somewhere around 115 to 120. As I finally see that area of land I was looking for. So, that area just to the south, that little hook-shaped forested area, that's a land area that's not actually accessible. So I was counting over to that, and I'm realizing here that it just to the southwest of where I am is that area that I counted to earlier, so now I'm trying to count back out from that. And I'm kind of realizing, it's like, I need to go due east, and I'm going to have to go east and north and around all this stuff in order to get where I need to go, so this is not going to be an easy continuation of the count here. Anytime you have a challenging count like that, it is nice to have some extra waypoints. You never know what's going to happen. You run into a red dragon, he doesn't let you leave. In this seed, we run into a blue dragon, he puts us to sleep and incinerates us. So taking note that coal here is however many tiles it is, we could continue the count from here if we were to die, instead of having to start all over. We also needed the heal anyway, so it was a good opportunity to kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. Realizing that this is a dead end, I can't go this way. I have to count further around. Dang. Now, if I were smart, I probably would have continued the count further to the south there, because I believe that across those mountains is the area just to the north of Staff Cave. I probably could have just looped around here and continued the count from there, so basically kind of bridging it over impassable terrain a second time, very similar to what I did between the two continents. But instead, it looks like I opted to just further count it out. Now I'm probably like 60-something tiles to these, so I'm way off. You know, where the coordinates are. I'm way too far north, I'm way too far east, and I'm having to kind of circle back to where I think these coordinates ultimately are going to be. So there's the Staff Cave. Another long, annoying trolley fight against the green dragon. And yet another one. Anytime you're trying to count coordinates and you're getting all these interruptions, as I mismenu heal more there, it's very difficult, especially if you don't have a solid, grasp on exactly where you are. And I think especially with as much as has gone on in the last 30-40 minutes, very tilty, very irritated, feeling like I'm very slow, very far behind. These extra encounters are not helping matters. Now this is the last overworld check. In my head, in the moment, this overworld check here is 100%. It's the stones. This is my last quest item here. The armor is already definitively in Sharlock at this point. The death necklace is also going to be there. So I already, in my head, think that both of those things are going to be things I'm going to have to tackle. Either way, this cannot be the armor, because this is the last check, and all the quest items do have to be outside of the castle. It's the death necklace. Wait, what? You can see the long pause here, rechecking the inventory, realizing the stones are already there, and realizing my assumptions were incorrect. Doing all this counting while helpful, and ruling out the fact that the armor, as it turns out, was not there. But ultimately this was an optional outcome. I didn't know that, and even if I had realized that indeed it could have been the armor or the death necklace and would not have been a quest item, I'd probably still make the check. Diving through Sharlock without the armor is such a chore and such a challenge that it would have been worth even all this invested extra time to make sure that I have it before entering and doing the checks of the 6 bottom floor treasury chests and the vanilla sword chest. Alright, going ahead and turning in for the Staff of Rain. We can head immediately out and return the quest items for the Rainbow Drop, and probably head right into Sharlock. Again, looking at the statistics here, if I were to throw the Death Necklace on, which I now have in my inventory, I'm short on MP, but I'm pretty close otherwise. The next level could be the level. I really can't afford to waste more time trying to grind or something else, as again, a little tilty here, a little bit lost. No return spell, so having to walk back to the swamp cave to head home to do the turn-in. I may actually have a set of wings. Maybe I dropped them a bit earlier, but I know that I did have a set of wings at one point. Those would have been good to use here. Double checking that I don't even have the outside spell. So I'm going to have to walk through the swamp cave. And we saw the wizard there just did 7 damage, so at this point, with the agility that I've gotten, particularly in the last couple of levels, I am starting to do defense break or damage break, depending on how you're phrasing it, some enemies in Charlock, which will also mean that I repel them on my way down. So that is worth noting. Of course, the ones at this point that I would be repelling are really the easier ones, and the ones in particular that didn't have super dangerous abilities. So the Wizard with its Stop Spell and Fire Breath, the Star Wyvern with its Stop Spell, and then the Werewolf, which didn't seem to have anything. Alrighty, finally making it to the Jerk for the Rainbow Drop. 1:19:30, and I'm feeling like, wow, this should have been me 20 minutes ago. Not sure why I walked past Remolder here. I think I definitely needed to stop and heal before trying to get back across the swamp cave. Hopefully I'll turn around and... there you go. This would have been smarter the first time. Just 375 away from level 15. It's very often not the case, but occasionally, if our stat profile is appropriate for it, you can do a single dive of Charlock, pick up the armor on the way, and still win. And the reason why that's usually not the case, very often if the sword is in Charlock, a lot of times it's reasonable to go a single dive finish. But with the armor, keep in mind what you're losing out on. Yes, you have all the protections against Fire Breath and Hurt More and things like that. You're immune to Stop Spell and whatnot. But the big things are you're giving up protection from barrier tiles. So the, 9 or 10 steps of barrier tiles here on the first floor, you're going to end up losing about 150 HP. And you're giving up about 300 to 350 steps worth of 1 HP regen. So you're giving up, assuming you actually take advantage of it, close to 500 HP worth of healing, which is like 5 heal mores. Usually in practice it works out to about 3, sometimes 4. Probably with the addition of burning some herbs and perhaps doing a little bit of risky walk at lower HP than you'd like. But it's a big give up. So doing a double dive for the armor here, once to pick up the armor and then the second time to go to win, is probably the right play, as ooh, that's a bad death. That's a real bad death. Not even sure why I was fighting the Stonemen there. Stonemen of the Charlock enemies are probably the least XP efficient for what it takes to kill them. They have a lot of HP, and of the Charlock enemies, they don't give all that much. 155 is great, but if you compare it to the other things in there, it's not great. Things like wizards that have only 65 hit points will give you 120 experience. Things like the Stoneman have 135 HP, so more than double the wizard, but only give 155, so only about a 30% increase or so. So generally not worth it unless you have no other good options. We know that, based on what we've seen, wizards would be good, star wyverns, axe knights, werewolves, all better choices here, so really no reason to fight that stone man. Okay, level 15. 2922. We didn't really pick up much in the way of strength. We might be okay with continuing to grind our way down here. Looking at the math, even with the death necklace in place, and even if we were to try Fairy Water strats, Fairy Water does 9 to 16 guaranteed damage. Right now we would have 129 attack power, doing 7 to 14 damage. Would take 15 attacks roughly, closer to 14 or 13 and a half with Fairy Water, but only 9 heal mores. And that would be assuming that we can keep absolutely every bit of our resources intact going into the Dragon Lord fight. So really not impossible, but not great odds. So level 16 is definitely the play here. We have to make the dive anyway. We might as well take some things, burn our resources down on the way. Shocker, another trolly green dragon and the Hurtmore miss. I think I'm realizing now I am down to 30 MP and I am barely onto the second floor. I have a long way to go, and my resources are not going to get me that far. So I'm either going to have to start skipping some of these fights, or I could get slept and wrecked by this green dragon that just wouldn't give it up. Wow. So we've lost now a good 5+ minutes at this juncture just in failing to dive successfully for the armor. We did pick up a decent bit, 700-800 experience points, which is, you know, not that bad, but we know that this zone that we're walking through right now has a great enemy set that much more efficiently and much more quickly can give us XP. And we really got to get down and get that armor. There's the big damage again of those barrier tiles. Still don't understand fighting the stone men here. We know that they're very dangerous. They're not worth all that much in the long run here. Really should just be slept and run from, or just run from outright. We have more than 90 agility. Should be pretty easy to run from them at a pretty high rate. Again, I think definitely in the tilty portion of the run here. Feeling almost certain that if this were a race setting, I would have already seen multiple .duns in IRC chat, knowing that I'm still at least a good 10 minutes away, needing to finish this dive, pick up the armor, go out, heal, do it all again. And that's assuming that level 16 is enough. It's likely to be, but it's possible that it's not. Well, we found some armored knights here in the next zone. They also have hurt more. Under normal circumstances, anything that has hurt more, fire breath especially, is typically seen as a good thing. Those are usually going to end up being less strong than whatever physical attacks come from something like a red dragon or an armored knight, but even a golem. But at this juncture, without Erdrick's armor, those hurt mores are doing full damage to us, 30 to 45. So at least as strong, if not stronger. Definitely stronger in this case because of our high defense. So we really don't want to see any more of them. So here in Basement 4, looks like I've elected to go all the way down to the bottom and bypassed the path to the vanilla sword chest. There's a lot of talk about whether it's better to do, all in one, check the vanilla sword chest on the way down first, versus go to the bottom, grab all 6, and then double back. It's really about playing the odds. If I needed more than one item, I would probably check the vanilla sword spot first. 5, 5, 6, 7. Finally learned Stop Spell, Gee Thanks Game, level 16. Fortunately, I haven't seen any blue dragons here. Last heal more. Still have 2 floors to go. Numbers looking pretty favorable at this point. We got enough strength, we got an extra heal more out of that level. 13 attacks-ish, 10 heal mores, but importantly, even with the death necklace, over 120 HP left. Very likely we're going to get at least 1 or 2 doubles in the fight. So, should be pretty safe, assuming the red dragons that we've already seen in this zone don't troll us too hard. We get into the treasury. Again, barely any resources left. We have the magic key, the cursed belt. Another key. Gold. Top of the pyramid, Erdrick's armor. So no need to check the vanilla chest. But I'm down to 4 MP. I can't cast outside. I've got to take a death refill. Not sure why I went ahead and finished this fight. Perhaps I was still trying to confirm the math as to whether or not my stats were good enough for DL2. If I didn't have all that extra HP, it might be more borderline and worth considering taking another level. But especially feeling as far behind as I am, it's definitely not something I want to do. And probably reconfirming that with all this extra HP, likely doubles, I should be more than strong enough to win. So let's go win. Just because my MP is a little bit on the borderline side, I can afford to give up other things, but I really can't afford to give up MP. Confirmed that I have full herbs, seeing that I have one extra inventory slot for another fairy water. I did invest all that time in picking up the silver shield, and it is really going to pay off when it comes to Sharlock. It's not going to save like the 9+ minutes that I probably invested in doing 3 gold grinds and taking multiple deaths to pick it up. But with our high agility, we're going to be repelling more than half of the enemies in Sharlock. The only things that we should see, assuming we keep repel up throughout our trek, will be golems, stonemen, armored knights, and red dragons. So even if we got lucky the first time through and somehow bypassed blue dragons, we should not see any on this dive if we keep up repel. Should also keep away the green dragons, which we know are quite trolly with their sleep and fire breath. Forgot to pick up a torch there in Brecconary, or didn't have an inventory slot for it. Didn't want to waste time going down to the item shop. Choosing here to cast Radiant and throw down some fairy water to save the 2 MP. We haven't yet seen the spike tile outside of the Dragon Lord's throne room. Probably worth it to save a couple of MP. So I'm at 82. It gives me 10 heal mores plus 2 extra to spend. If I keep those to the bottom, if it's a stone man, I can put it to sleep. If it's a blue dragon, I can try to put stop spell on it. I've never even tried it this seed because I didn't have the spell to try. But at least it would maintain 10 heal mores if I'm able to do that. Pretty nice walk here. Almost full HP. First try run from the red dragon. Spike tile. It's an Axe Knight. Probably the best case scenario. Couple of swings, he's down. Full herbs, full HP. Should be a virtual lock barring a miss menu, or extraordinarily bad RNG. Alright, Death Necklace on. Attack power, I believe, should be 134. Range of damage on DL2 will be 8 to 17. With a max somewhere between 150 and 165. Puts us at about 13 attacks to win. We'll see how we do. Opening with 12. 24. 40. Well, we got a double there. That helps out. 49. 58. Rolls haven't been the best, below average, but certainly not terrible. 68. 79. 91. 101. 114. 49 we're safe to swing here. 130. With our defense, Dragon Lord physical attack maximum is only 45. Fire Breath maxes at 48, so 49 is safe to swing at. 145. Could win on the next swing. We would have another double attack opportunity here at 98 HP. 157 was enough. So, Dragon Lord rolled somewhere in the bottom half of his HP range as we cast Return, head back to the castle, and we return to the king as a hero. So, again, not a great run, to be perfectly honest. Lots of unforced errors, I think. Perhaps some questionable judgment here and there. RNG was certainly not on our side at several junctures. We didn't really get too much good luck, I don't think. But definitely there were some areas where I could have mitigated my risk, and I just didn't. So final time here of 1 hour, 40 minutes, 33 seconds. Kind of final thoughts on how that all went. Areas where time could have been saved. What a time that would have been reasonable and or likely could have won this thing. Very, very early game. The opening is, again, there were options. We had gold. I could have checked a little bit further around to see if there were any more towns. I didn't end up finding Hawksnest and Remolder until about 6 or 7 minutes in. They weren't that far north of the castle. We did still pick up a couple of levels quite easily. We found Hawksnest first, which obviously was not of great significance early on. Remolder really didn't have a weapon for us either. Critically, I forgot to explore west and didn't see Garinham. Not sure what was there. It's possible that a hand axe or a copper sword was there and would have made the opening a bit faster and easier. Several junctures that I did maybe a tiny grind, but had opportunities potentially to do a more significant, dedicated grind, looking for things like Stop Spell, outside, etc. And then at the end, I think especially, several deaths. You know, the 2 deaths, diving Sharlock for the armor, both really bad errors. We had the multiple gold grinds without saving, especially the first one that caused a problem. All in all, with all of those, probably about 6 or 7 unneeded minutes when you factor in the gold grinds, minus whatever we may have repelled in Sharlock. So it was probably about 8, 9, or 10 minutes invested, maybe 3 or 4 minutes benefit. Another 5 or 6 minutes in the deaths outside of or inside of Sharlock, diving for the armor. Probably, it's hard to say. In any setting like this where you have a lot of RNG potential when it comes to the blue dragons, it just depends on who got the good luck, who got the bad luck. Probably somewhere 12 to 15 minutes behind is how I'm feeling, possibly more. So, we have the results. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we got. Whoops. There's the results. Smack dab in the middle. 140.33, 10th place out of 19 runners. And Angel FM taking the win on this one. And gosh darn it if it isn't exactly 15 minutes faster. Kind of as expected, based on what we saw. Taking a look at the results here again, not too surprising in terms of who finished where for the most part. Lots of really good experienced runners in this list. Some of the best when it comes to it. Angel FM, Mr. Holmes, Brian Williams, Archfield, Game Boy F9. Some definite newer runners to the community as well. Apex Corvid. Nim Nim, and some brand new names that I have not seen really at all before. Blood, Sweat, and Code, and Unless If. Good to see those names as well. So really a good set of folks in here. It's a really strong community. It's always fun to race with these guys. It's good to compare notes and things in Discord, and it's really fun to have events with all of them as well. Really a nice community of people. So hopefully next time we'll do a bit better, but as for this one, a very middling finish with a lot of mistakes that could have been improved on. So like I said, next time we'll do a bit better. So that's going to do it for me for this week's Dragon Warrior Randomizer Weekly Seed. If you enjoyed this content, feel free to like the video, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel for more. Please come visit over at twitch.tv/diabetesthe2 for more Dragon Warrior Randomizer and other similar content. Also a reminder to check the description below for more info on the randomizer and the DWR Discord community. And until next time, this is Diabetes the Second. Stay healthy, stay safe, and take care.